Are you frustrated because your custom fonts are duplicating in your Angular project's Dist directory? You're not alone. Today, we're going to tackle this issue and find a solution together. I completely understand how annoying it can be to see duplicate files cluttering your project. It can feel like a never-ending battle with your build process. But don't worry, we will sort this out. Here's the specific situation we're addressing. A user recently asked, "Why are my fonts duplicating in the Dist directory after a production build?" They have their custom fonts stored in the Assets folder, but after building, they find duplicates in both the Assets folder and the root of the Dist directory. Sound familiar? Let's dive into this. So, what could be causing this duplication? It seems that the Angular CLI is copying your font files to the root directory due to the configuration settings. We'll break down the steps to fix this issue. And stick around. I have a crucial tip at the end that will help you avoid this issue in the future. To prevent the duplication of font files in the root of the Dist directory, the user should first check the angular.json configuration file. This file controls how assets are handled during the build process. In the Assets section, the user should ensure that the fonts directory is correctly referenced. It should look something like this: src/assets, to ensure that the fonts are only copied to the intended location. Next, the user should check the styles.scss file for any incorrect paths in the @fontface declarations. The paths should be relative to the Assets directory. If the paths are correct and the issue persists, the user may need to adjust the build options in the Angular JSON file. Look for the output path setting and ensure it is set to Dist. Finally, after making these adjustments, the user should run the production build again. This can be done using the command ngbuild-prod to see if the issue is resolved. Fun fact, did you know that the first web pages were just plain text? We've come a long way, but sometimes the simplest things can trip us up. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. One alternative solution shared by a user is to place all your @fontface declarations directly in the index.html file. They suggest using a style tag with paths like src url assets fonts myfont.walk2. This method prevents font duplication and ensures that the fonts are correctly located in the fonts folder without any 404 errors. The user also mentions that their backend had a filter based on assets, which made it necessary to avoid leaving fonts in the root folder. They preferred this method over setting up a custom Webpack configuration, as it suited their specific setup. That's all on that answer. Let's take a look at another one. One alternative solution shared by a user involves modifying the font URL in your styles. They suggest changing the dot before the slash to create an absolute path. This means instead of using a relative path, you would use a leading slash to point directly to the root of your project. Here's the tip I promised. Always double-check your configuration settings after updates. This can save you a lot of headaches down the line. And there you have it. Your font duplication issue should be resolved now. Remember, keeping your configuration tidy is key. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips, and don't miss our next video where we tackle common Angular issues.